You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's WWE Monday Night Raw After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's WWE Monday Night Raw After Show.
Yeah. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV. We're brought to you by Bing, because Bing is for doing, and we're doing another AfterBuzz Raw recap for the week of October 29th. I'm the governor, or the body. I'm Ryan, the Body Ventura, and I'm joined here by my tag team of broadcast brilliance, Josh, Superfan Padgett, and Ryan, the Colonel Clum. We're selling. I'm sticking with the Colonel, man.
The Colonel, you like that?
We're here for our Halloween episode, October 29th, Monday Night Raw. We figured we'd get in the spirit, we'd get in the festivities, and we'd put on the costumes. So, I mean, we can go around the room. I didn't bring a picture to throw up for comparison from my man Josh here, because I know everyone would know who he is, and just looking straight at him.
Yeah, Jay Lethal, right?
Yeah, and he's got his name right there on his T-shirt, representing the Macho Man. Any reason why you chose that one?
Oh man, well we lost a Hall of Famer, a legend.
We did
in 2010. Was it last year or the year before?
Time ticks by. I don't know the date, but it does start adding up super fast. You realize that years have gone by, and you're like, we still got the memories though.
Yeah, it was like in December 2010, his DVD came out, and like I just fell in love with him all over again when I was watching his promos. And this T-shirt, the Lavender Macho Man.
I mean, one of the best T-shirts ever made by WWF, WWE.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's the classic that everyone's always looking for. Absolutely the best word, Ryan, that you can use right there is iconic. I mean, Macho Man definitely responsible for making me a wrestling fan. I always talk about Road Warriors being my favorite guys out there, but Macho Man would be the other. I was never a Hogan or a Warrior fan. It was all about the Macho Man.
All about the Macho Madness.
And now let's go over here. I mean, I got a picture that I did bring of the Widowmaker Barry Windham picture, because that's who you're rocking, Ryan.
I am the Widowmaker.
Spitting image.
Former member of the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, I mean, and very simple costume. I mean, look at this. I mean, it's like he's sitting in studio with us.
I didn't wrap my wrists like I planned to, but that's the only thing that's missing.
No, but not bad. I mean, Ryan, I'm looking at like we got Barry Windham as a co-host. Maybe I'll start calling you Barry today or something. I was thinking about my costume, what I was going to wear. I've been a lot of different guys in costumes on some tribute shows. If we can throw up my picture of, there you go. I've been Jimmy Hart before. I've been Brother Love. And I didn't want to cop out and take the easy way out and do something I've already done and just go into the closet. So instead, I went into the closet and put together a Jesse the Body Ventura outfit.
I like it.
I was going for my inspiration right there. Went with a little bow tie. He's got pink. I did my purple interpretation.
That's amazing.
We got a purple day going on today.
I like it.
I mean, the odd thing for me, though, is the only items I actually went out and bought were the sunglasses and the boa. I mean, everything else is straight from my closet.
Are pretty close, too, man. I mean,
screw pretty close. They're the exact same sunglasses, man.
Where'd you find those?
I was at the Halloween store today, and all of a sudden my roommate was like, aren't these the glasses you're looking for? And I was like, absolutely they are.
Holy crap.
So there we have it. We got our Halloween episode. We got an interesting night of Raw. I mean, we're coming off of, I got to be honest, I got some anger, I got some adrenaline, I got some frustrations going on.
From the amazing pay-per-view last night?
Yeah, I mean, that pay-per-view was not what I was looking forward to. I was very excited to watch this pay-per-view. I was looking forward to the elevation of a new superstar, and it's not the finish of the match that bothered me and is getting my blood boiling and making me angry. It was just the overall vibe
The whole night.
and energy of the evening, of the pay-per-view, absolutely puts a sad face on my, on my face. Oh man, I mean, it ticked me off.
Yeah, and usually you can. I mean, I guess it lives and dies with the workers and the wrestlers. But last night, I almost have to blame the audience.
That's what it is. I'm not blaming WWE for a poor performance.
The audience killed it last night. They were on their hands the whole night.
But they got a giant hurricane coming through. The Falcons just had a huge win against the Eagles.
I mean, that's when you want to escape. Absolutely.
Atlanta, Georgia, where some of the hottest crowds of all time have been, and it was like crickets last night. And a pretty good opener with the Del Rio and...
the matches were fine. The overall quality of the pay-per-view is fine, but that lack of energy, that lack of excitement from the whether it's the fourth man, fifth man, sixth man, or whatever in the ring, the crowd, it destroyed anything that they were trying to build. There was no reactions, no giant pops. There was no response. No. And I think it really hurt the progression of story. Yeah. I don't even mind this finish of corrupt referee Brad Maddox interfering in the CM Punk Ryback match. CM Punk retains the win. I don't agree with it. I don't like it, but that's not what makes me upset. It's just this, you go spend $55 for a pay-per-view. You go out and you go buy organic foods and make nice things to have a party and invite some people over, and then you're let down and you're disappointed.
And what a fine shindig you hosted yesterday.
I appreciate that. I like to do that. That was just a B card pay-per-view party. Yeah. So I mean, usually like when we do like a WrestleMania party, I'll do it up.
You got Survivor Series coming up.
I start up the day before. I start cooking the sauce for the sausage sandwiches. Nice. We got other stuff. Yesterday we rolled out the pizza dough. I made some pizzas from scratch.
Hell yeah!
Absolutely.
The champ knows how to party.
Sometimes the fans can either make or break a show. Like they killed it last night. Money in the Bank, not this year, but the year Punk won it. They made that show. The fans in Chicago went crazy and elevated that show because of that.
You're entitled to that comment, but I don't deal in comments. I deal in facts. And the fact is the show was just disappointing.
It was.
Let's get on to this, to tonight's episode of Raw. Let's get this started. We started action right away. And not action, excuse me, but we started with the champ right away. CM Punk comes to the ring, introduced by Heyman, and we start out with some pretty strong mic work by CM Punk.
Always strong with him.
I mean, absolutely, but talking about snatching Rey Mysterio from the sky and putting him to sleep, and that he's taking the Apex Predator Randy Orton and taking him out because the Viper can't compare to the Anaconda Vice, and was just going on and on how he is the best in the world. He can't be, he's inerasable from history is something he said that I actually like the way it was worded and written. And he's now had the championship for 344 days.
Is that number 9 all time? I think number 8, or I think he's number 9 all time.
You're supposed to be my statistician, Colonel.
I think it's 9. I don't think he's jumped over 8 yet, but.
Well, I mean, let's go into this. So I told you that I was disappointed with the finish. I wanted to see Ryback actually win the championship.
Yes.
I think that was something that would actually move the lever of ratings. I don't think it's going to backfire on WWE. I think it's going to work out okay because there was still reactions going on. There was still a strong, but people are still into it, and they're curious as to what's going to happen.
They're exactly where they were last week.
Right. There's no change. Whereas I feel like that Ryback win would have buzzed, it would have AfterBuzzed the universe to where everyone's calling everybody and saying, you got to tune in, you got to tune in. What's CM Punk going to do? How's he going to answer? Ryback's the new champ. Oh, my God. Didn't work that way. How do you feel about it?
Maybe I'm just thinking now, maybe it would be better to see, it would be good to see Ryback chase the belt until WrestleMania and then finally win it on the big stage.
I mean, people talk about slow builds being good. You don't want to hot shot the angle is what you always hear.
This kind of cool it off after this next pay-per-view a little bit. Send him in with Rock. Put him, CM Punk beats Rock, takes it into WrestleMania, and Ryback finally comes in and wins and beats the champ that's had the belt for a year and a half. It's a big momentous occasion, launches your next superstar. So, possibly.
It's a possibility. You're a wise man. You've thrown out some great ideas in the past. Some have actually come to fruition even. So, interesting thought. Josh, what do you feel? CM Punk walks into Raw with the championship.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I was really upset because I wanted Brock Lesnar, and I don't know what the deal is with his contract issue right now. But
he has specific, only a certain amount of dates.
You know, but they make that claim of those dates, and it was something like 30 dates is when he originally got signed. They've used a handful.
And that's the thing is they overused supposedly the dates earlier on, so they had to take him off for a bit because they overused him in the Triple H stuff.
But you would think that they can get in 3-4 dates for this push, just to
spark. You never know. Especially, you know, they say Brock is wonderful to work with, so you know,
I mean, but it's got to be great to be a guy like Brock and have that control to be so wonderful to work with.
Yeah, screw you. I'd rather sit on the farm. Yeah.
All right, so getting back to the gist of what was going on and this story that CM Punk was saying, he essentially told the WWE Universe that there will not be a rematch with Ryback, and he's proved himself.
Mm-hmm. And that he was not involved with the decision.
You're correct. He said he had nothing to do with it, and what happened last night was strictly the works of a rogue official, Brad Maddox, who has not been seen since last night.
Right.
They're playing the he hasn't been seen. But shouldn't he be easily seen laying in a hospital bed?
Or here's the thing: if you don't show up for work, you get fired. So
unless you got the doctor's note because you were obviously injured last night.
And somebody in management should know what's going on.
Crazy spot last night at the pay-per-view post-match where Ryback military pressed Brad Maddox and just threw him out of the ring into the cage where he just hits the cage and hits the ground.
That was probably the biggest bump of the night.
One of those, what I would say, somewhat reckless. I think WWE probably not as concerned, being that Maddox isn't, even if they're doing a storyline, he's not necessarily a main character that they have to worry so much about.
But he's a real wrestler. He was the FCW 15 champ and the FCW champ, so he's been one of the big guys.
You would think if they would have done it where he gets thrown into the cage on entrance side and then the cage collapses, it actually becomes a safer bump to take, even though it looks so much more devastating. And it's then there's your OMG moment of the night that Ryback is a beast. He just threw a guy through a cage.
But the OMG moment was supposed to be afterwards when they went to the top of the cage.
Right.
So that was your OMG moment. And if you did that, it would have.
I guess so. It takes
it was
away.
a weak OMG moment. We were talking about last night because. You know, and why I don't think they were showing the Mick Foley stuff and the Shawn Michaels stuff before, because that doesn't live up to some of the old Hell in a Cell matches.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, and like how many times in the history have we seen... This is the thing I was thinking about. I was really upset when you pretty much called it right there. You're like, oh, Brad Maddox is in the ring. He shouldn't be officiating this main event.
I was reading some other reports online of people saying the same thing, that everyone when they saw Maddox in the ring as the ref for this main event match sat and went, there has to be some storyline going on. He's just not a guy... I was like a little South Park kid getting frantic saying that this just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, and we've seen this before. Like, I was like, man, like they could have done something great. Like, either give Ryback the belt, have Brock Lesnar come in there, use up one of his pay-per-views, have something spectacular happen. And it's like, how many times have we had a rogue ref? You know, and I think about it, it's like Nick Patrick, Little
Danny
Nate,
Davis.
I have a feeling, though,
Charles Robinson, right?
Charles Robinson,
You know, even Earl Hebner. Like, we've had these guys in the past.
It doesn't go anywhere, is what you're saying.
Even the kids.
You get a 2-month build of story and a fun little story arc. But once that happens, it's done. It's over, and no one's elevated. No one's bigger or better because of it.
Right, but you know, this story is still continuing, so we'll see where it goes. I mean, I don't think this is it with them and Brad Maddox with Punk and Heyman. And who knows? Brad Maddox was a wrestler until he showed up as a referee.
Right.
So could he start wrestling again? Because that's what what he's under contract is. He's a contracted wrestler.
It's odd to then believe that the guy who's been refereeing for some matches is now going to become the next great big superstar.
Come on, Garrett Bischoff, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
he's doing that down in TNA.
There's something I'm not liking with that story.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, CM Punk saying Ryback will not get a rematch, and then we hear the car crash. And Mick Foley comes to the ring. The hardcore legend was in Charlotte, North Carolina tonight to make an appearance and, go face-to-face with CM Punk.
And I've enjoyed their little face-to-face interactions that they've been doing as of late. I think Punk has brought out the best in Mick.
Yeah, and Mick's always been really good on the mic, too.
Always.
But, I mean, Punk brings out the best in everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. And Foley told CM Punk that he had the chance to be a legend and live up to the legacy, but instead he acted like a coward. and he was a disgrace to tradition, to which CM Punk then came back saying, I am tradition. I've been the champion for 344 days. And then something happened here, which was actually, I think, a more common thread for today, throughout today's whole episode, is CM Punk responded to an individual in the crowd that was, chanting something, they're heckling at him. Essentially, when all this was going on, CM Punk just turned to the crowd and said, I don't suck. I'm not from Charlotte, North Carolina. And he was responding to individual people. And this is one of those masterful things that CM Punk has been able to do on WWE television that a lot of other superstars just don't have the ability to do. And that's actually suck the audience into the story and make them a part of it. There's an interactive intimacy, so to speak, that they are now a part of the show, where you don't usually see WWE guys responding to individuals in the crowd. It's usually about the millions watching through the screen. You respond to the pops and the arena-wide chants, but if one person makes a comment, it's usually just ignored.
Sure, it's a lost art.
And now CM Punk is bringing almost what I'll call it indie style of working back in, where you're bringing that crowd and making them feel like they're a part. Because now you're sitting there, you paid your $44 or whatever you paid for your ticket, and you're sitting there enjoying Monday Night Raw, and you know that when things are kind of quiet, you can throw out your little chant, and maybe he'll respond to you, and then you get to go say to your friend, CM Punk yelled at me, called me a loser, and now you're all happy and excited.
I don't know, I'd even just call it an indie style. It's more old school. That's what it was like when I was watching in the 80s.
And
everybody was on,
style.
and not people sitting on their hands or playing Angry Birds and wondering what the next big move is going to be. You know, it's people invested in those matches and telling stories, and I think Punk is a great storyteller.
Yeah,
You're a great storyteller.
And then when you got a Foley who's a storyteller as well, you put them together and you lead to the build for Survivor Series. They're talking about that they're going to have a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series matchup coming up at the pay-per-view in just a few weeks.
Team Foley versus Team Punk.
Foley versus Punk, and this is going to be the fact that the title won't be on the line. We're going to see a one-year reign from CM Punk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which thank you. Finally, it's been a long time. I'm glad
you like the long title reigns.
I like the long title reigns. I mean, I grew up with Hulk Hogan's 4-year title reign. So before that, you had the, what was it, 5-6 years from Backlund, and I like those long reigns.
Yeah, as far as in the modern era, I think Cena's the only one he's the top one in the modern era at 380 or 381 days.
He was up there, yeah.
I think Survivor Series is a last pay-per-view in between where Punk will beat Cena's record, which is huge.
And he's close to taking down Kevin Nash's record. He's close to taking down Macho Man's record and one of Hogan's records as well.
Yeah, they're all like in the 360s or something.
Yeah, they're all like within the next month or two in sight. So
the guy who a lot of people in the office said couldn't do it, wouldn't do it, shouldn't do it is making a lot of big things happen and is emerging as a monster superstar and will build his legacy as one of the biggest names in wrestling, especially for this era.
I mean, remember that promo, I'm not on the cover of your magazines, but now he's on the cover of WWE 13. He's everywhere.
No ice cream bars yet.
No ice cream bars yet.
So what you're telling me is that he's doing exactly what he said he wouldn't be doing. Well, I find that the absolute epitome of hypocrisy right there, and that's hypocrisy at its most hypocritical.
I think it's a conspiracy, Jesse.
That's a 180.
So it's all going on. Foley and Punk are face to face, and we get the Ryback entrance.
Ryback comes down.
Ryback, crowd's into it.
Crowd is definitely into it.
Crowd was
Ryback's over.
Into Ryback, was chanting from the get-go, loving it. So like I said, it didn't hurt him to lose last night.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
It's growing.
A buddy of mine was over when I was watching SmackDown, and I fast-forwarded through the Ryback, last week on Raw stuff, and he goes, "Oh, hold on, Ryback is a guy. This is the guy I like to see." He's like, he reminds me of Goldberg, who was my favorite. So. He's not a real wrestling fan, but once he saw Ryback, he's like, stop, I want to see this guy.
And that's what I like about a Ryback. And it's funny when you sit and you know wrestling fans, and wrestling fans don't generally like what the mainstream audience is into. They generally they like to see good skill, technique.
Yes.
They appreciate hard work and effort, and it's not just about the pizzazz, the flair, the shtick. They appreciate a little bit more. Whereas Ryback just can suck some of those casual fans into the product and bring more eyes to the product.
Which is where the money's at. I mean, the real hardcore fans make up what, maybe 10% of the audience.
Yeah, I mean it's hard.
Big.
I know there's been some sort of studies, whoever put them on, find out however accurate they are.
Yeah.
It is a small realm of audience. I mean, you look at indie shows around the country that draw 100 people is a good turnout. Those are diehard fans.
I was at one. I had a show this weekend where I had like 15 people there. 2,000 seats.
Unbelievable.
It happens.
You need those larger-than-life characters to bring in those casual fans. Like the Macho Man Randy Savage, like the
All
Jesse
those
the Body.
guys were characters
Not so
and
much
larger
Barry
than
Windham,
life, and now we got guys.
That's how I got sucked in.
Now you got more and more guys like Barry Windham over here. No offense,
Yeah.
Barry, but no, who just wrestle under their name. They're not about a character. They're just about some ass-kicking dudes, who can handle the business in a fight.
But Barry was the Widowmaker.
Was the Widowmaker.
Was the Widowmaker.
So
But you tell me what that gimmick the Widowmaker was.
it was a dude in a black vest with a long ponytail.
So as Ryback came down the entrance ramp under the
He would make you a
screen on the
widow.
Titantron, CM Punk retreating like a coward.
The man's got broken
With
ribs,
Heyman.
it looks like. Give the man a break.
That is true.
It looks to me like he's got a yellow stripe running down his
He
back.
was.
here we
Did you
go.
notice that his elbow taping was perfectly aligned with the taping to the?
I mean, he's into that psychology, and it's
Yeah.
those little things that you may not notice what's going on, but subconsciously you pick it up. I think CM Punk did a tremendous job of selling injuries the whole episode.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get to that later. Like some people come to the ring. Well, I'll come to that later.
You saw the huge gashes in his shoulder.
I
from-
forgot he
He
got
did
bumped
have that
last
gash
night.
last
He
night. I forgot
pointed him out
about
to
that.
Foley. He's like, "You want to talk about legacy in the Hell in a Cell? What about this right here?"
Holy hole in a donut!
That's right. Oh man, it was. I mean, that was a brutal hit. I rewatched the Ryback Hell in a Cell match, and yeah, he hit like the worst part of the cage on that first bump.
It's what happens. One of the first times I was in a cage match, I was in a 5-on-5 cage, war game style, 2 rings surrounded by a monstrous cage. And the company was XPW, and when they bought the caging to build this cage, they wanted to save some money, so they bought a cheaper grade cage that is essentially sprayed with some sort of barb, or
yeah.
not barbs, but
I know what you're talking
but
about.
there's actually texturing
Yes.
all over the
yeah.
grates because it's not like it's cleaned and polished.
Yeah.
So like when you got thrown into the
It's like
cage,
it's almost like sandish. And,
yeah,
I know what
we
you're
were
talking about.
getting stabbed, cut up. Cage matches are crazy, man. Lots of. I mean,
I have
there's a
not
reason
been
why
in
they
a
say
cage yet.
they can take your, they can shorten your career.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just finishing up, this is the first segment. I mean, we're going on and on about it. Ryback comes in, CM Punk retreats. I enjoyed the camera shots of what was happening here. I liked the way as CM Punk was retreating through the crowd, and the camera was staying with Punk and Heyman was still showing off the belt as they were going through the audience. Once again, doing what I mentioned, bringing the audience into it, making them more a part of the show. And really trying to pique their interest, I think.
I didn't notice. Did they have security around him this time?
No.
Yeah.
As you say that, no, they did not learn a lesson.
I was even thinking about it. We just had a situation.
They
a
had
couple weeks
Heyman
ago.
with them, who becomes. I realize he's not a physical security guard, but just by at least being aware and someone's around that.
Yeah.
Hey, you.
Well, plus they're in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's classy. That's a classy
You
part
got
of the
a little
country
bit,
right
a
there.
little bit
Okay.
more
That's
respect, maybe.
Yeah, it's still a pretty. Charlotte's typically a pretty good audience. Home of Ric Flair. They love
That's
wrestling
Flair
there.
country. Woo.
All right, so we got story and shtick, and it transitions into our first match-up of the night, and that's going to be Ryback versus
JTG.
JTG.
what?
He gets a rematch from like 4 weeks ago.
This is
What?
squish squash.
Screw squish squash. This was just plain stupid. How do you have a guy main event a pay-per-view and then put him in the ring with a jobber for a squash? And you're going to tell me that the mindset and the mentality is that you're showing his power once again and that he can just decimate and destroy another wrestler, but he's decimating and destroying a guy who hasn't won in freaking 5 years.
And it's back to the Ryback jobber thing again, which I had thought we had moved on from that. So yeah,
The one
It was a
thing,
step back.
The one thing I did enjoy in the match, Ryback had a new move. Ryback rocked the Luthez press a la Steve Austin.
Oh, I must have looked down. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, that's
Dug
right.
it. He's so big and thick that when he hit, there's such a believability that his body just immersed and covered JTG,
Oh, nice.
sent him to the ground.
Goes right into the head pound.
Yeah, into the head pound.
Oh, okay.
I was a fan of that. I thought it was nice. I also found so Ryback gets the easy win.
Yeah.
Camera goes close up on Ryback's face. I thought he kind of looks like Big Show if you only look at
Oh, really?
a little bit of the face.
He's got that. He looks like he's doing HGH, and Big Show has a natural issue with his pituitary gland back in the day, and it probably formed his face. So, hey, Ryback. I mean, who?
Look at Gorilla Monsoon over here coming out with pituitary glands.
But yeah, he knows the Cro-Magnon look is coming in.
Yeah.
Right, Ryback's a.
And Ryback talked.
Ryback did talk. What did you think about it?
I actually, you know, it was like, okay, how is this? He grabbed that mic, and it's like, all right, is he going to fall on his face? And I thought he did a great job. You know, they kept it short and simple, but more than what he's done. And I thought he did a really good job. I thought it was a good promo.
Ryback's fantastic, man. I mean, people are just cutting out his legs before he even gets a chance to walk on him.
Give him more time.
Exactly. When you hear these people, he's not ready. He's not ready. Trial by fire.
I think it's getting
he
bigger.
has the skills, the talent. I believe he'll step up to it. I believe. I mean, I don't know him, so I don't know him personally, but I believe he's got the work ethic to try to become the very best at what he does, and he's not going to let anything stop that from happening.
And the fans are getting behind him. This is almost like a snowball rolling down the hill. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I don't think we're even to the fastest part of it. I think he's just going to keep getting
the crowd was ready to start the Feed Me More chants, but there's a tweak officially to it. It's
Feed Me Punk.
It's now Feed Me Punk. Feed me punk.
And now all he has to do is move
a little
his
shoulder.
Yeah.
Come on, boys, let's go.
People are digging it, and then I'll go into one of my
People love
signs.
to chant simple things.
It is that. It's simple chants. It's fun chants.
Yes.
You want to become part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so being part of the show, I'll point out one of my favorite signs of the evening. Ryback ate my other signs.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So we go to commercial after that. Actually, before we go to commercial, we get to see a little highlight package of the punch, the knockout punch from Big Show onto Sheamus, and we see it in frame-by-frame slow-mo where you see that fist connect and you see the cheek jiggle. It's pretty sweet.
And then you also see his head go back and his eyes roll back, too. It was great facials by Sheamus, too, because you see him go, ah.
You know that when WWE is pulling out the frame-by-frame replay, that it is so good and the connection is so legitimately real.
Yeah.
And you see that. I mean, you can't fake an expression like that. He got punched. That's one of those things. Sheamus, man, you make some good money. I'm sorry, you're getting punched in the face today.
Lunchbox.
Twice. Yep. It's part of the way it works in this game of wrestling because it's not ballet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Randy.
Do you want to eat, you got to wrestle.
You do. You do. And did you know that, here's something funny when you come to DQs and referee talk. I learned this. You say you got to eat to wrestle. Did you know that the old gimmick was that if you got disqualified, you didn't get paid?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so back in the days where they used to make a big deal of the winner's purse and you win, you go to the pay window and Dusty Rhodes and all that.
Yeah.
The old vibe was that if a referee disqualified you, not only were you disqualified from the match, you don't earn your paycheck for the day.
I like that.
And that's something that Regal was telling a story about that a couple months ago.
Interesting.
And I find that very interesting.
I like that.
And it's one of we're gonna come to the PSA later. That's another segment. It's coming. But no, Regal was telling, and I think they need to bring something like that up. And I think people will appreciate that vibe, and there comes a new psychology
back
story.
legitimately in the day, too, when you had the athletic commissions before the business was exposed, you could be fined by athletic commissions for grabbing the ropes and pulling tights and cheating and stuff like that.
I always wanted to start on an indie level or whatever, a faction of the State Athletic Commission, because I just like that it's called SAC. SAC's coming to mess it up.
Maybe there's some people we could pitch that to. That would...
All right, so now we had our squash. We come to our first real match of the episode, and what a match it is! I'm shocked when I hear see the graphics.
Barrett and Orton.
Randy Orton versus Wade Barrett. What I'd call a pay-per-view quality match.
This is a rematch from SmackDown as well. They had a pretty good match on SmackDown this week, which Barrett won that match.
Yeah, and Orton's selling that his arm is hurting from Alberto Del Rio, from facing Del Rio last night. By the way, for those that don't know or didn't realize, Randy Orton beating Del Rio last night with a beautiful, beautiful move.
Spectacular.
Del Rio came rushing the corner for his behind-the-head kick, jumping over on the ropes, and as he was up in the air, Orton got under there with the RKO, and
you and I both jumped off the couch when that happened. We rewound that, like, oh my God, what was that? It was spectacular.
Yeah, so I mean, through this match, Barrett's just attacking the injured arm of Orton. They fight to the Spanish announce table. Here's where I find this feud interesting. Both these guys are pretty similar. They're very different, but they're very similar.
Yeah,
they're both predators. They're both methodical fighters.
Similar styles.
No flash. All substance, all
meat and potatoes,
straight up meat and potatoes, and we're here to fight. So it's going to be interesting to see how this develops, because that can work in one of two ways. You got two guys who are too similar that the styles actually clash. It becomes boring. Or you get two guys who are, fighting for supremacy of a style. And I think that's what was weird about them doing this. They've been building this build for Wade Barrett for quite some time now, since he came back from injury. Now we're put in the ring with Randy Orton. And Orton actually came through with an RKO.
Yeah, ducked. What is it now called? The souvenir elbow or whatever.
I even got ahead of myself here because actually I liked Orton's comeback. I didn't write down what it was, but Orton. Oh, he hits that power slam, man.
Yeah, so low.
It's a thing of beauty.
I love that power slam.
It's dope. I'm bringing back 80s words, man. That thing is dope.
Because, I mean, even practicing, I've worked on that quite a bit in training, and the way he gets so low with it and just snaps it, that's hard to do.
So last night he went for the power slam. Del Rio was able to get out of the way of it, but but Orton still goes through with it, turns, rotates. It's such a snapping maneuver that he takes all of his momentum, throws it in. It's really believable.
His
You're not going to stop that move.
Yeah, I think he's got some of the best comebacks.
He's got fire, and I mean, one of his talents is awareness of the cameras and being able to play those expressions and play that style. Yeah. And then what everyone always talks about, but no one really understands what it means, that psychology of wrestling.
You know what I've heard people say, and I didn't get this before until I started wrestling, but I think it was Arn Anderson said, with Randy, there's no wasted movements. Yeah. There's no missteps.
Absolutely.
He doesn't step twice when he only should step once.
Yeah, he's not swaying. He's not walking around the ring in a promo. He's point A, and if he does move to point B, there's a reason why he's doing it.
Reason for everything he does.
I don't know if you noticed something that was kind of gross in this match. After Barrett hit a punch, he licked his hand.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's sick. That's awesome.
You thought it's disgusting, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sweaty, gross tape, and there's dirt and bacteria and fungus.
Makes me think of the famous BJ Penn licking the blood.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys who doesn't like to spread
Hasn't Bully
diseases.
Ray done stuff like that before, I think?
There's people licking people. And, yeah, man. I ain't going to lie. I've licked someone in the ring before, too. But... no. Barrett hit, but before the finish, Barrett hit Orton with the Boss Man Slam.
Yes.
Yeah, buddy.
Or the Black Hole Slam.
Well, it's Boss Man Slam, man. I mean, we don't acknowledge the other league and where that name came from. I mean, they're inferior. They're not the WWE.
Doesn't the Black Hole Slam go a couple times over more than the?
I guess, but the Boss Man is a WWF Hall of Famer.
That is very true.
So it's like you got to give him his credit for the move.
Well, legendary, yeah.
So like you said, there was a duck of the elbow or something. Orton hits the RKO. I hated the finish. How do you? It's again. I mean, it's what we saw, right? How do you go build Wade Barrett for months and then he loses?
Because you know what, and I think again this is off because he beat Randy Orton on Friday night. He went over, he hit his souvenir elbow, and he got the clean, or it wasn't a clean win. Alberto Del Rio did do a little bit of stuff down there, but you had to get. I think this was Randy getting his win over.
Everyone argues that there's no new stars and there's no roster depth. You know how you get more depth? By building more stars. And it seems that every single time WWE tries to build someone, out of nowhere, they stop the push. Momentum is halted. Track is derailed. It's crazy.
And you really got to wait like a whole week. You know, he may not wrestle main event.
A whole week, John?
And people forget.
I don't know about with these days with main event and SmackDown and Superstars and with all those shows.
These guys, I mean, some of them are wrestling like every day.
Yeah, and Barrett's a SmackDown guy, so you'll see him Friday.
Yeah, Wade Barrett had some great matches against Sheamus these past few weeks. I mean, awesome matches during the Big Show thing. I thought they were going to look, Sheamus lost. Now Big Show moves on to someone else, and let Sheamus and Wade Barrett have like an amazing build up to WrestleMania. It would be awesome.
Yeah, if you want to get in on the comments, why don't you go on over to iTunes, rate and comment, tell a friend. It only takes a minute to do. That way you can get in and participating in our conversation. We're going to try to set some stuff up to get some tweets or some interaction with some questions going. Probably not going to take some calls. That may bother some people. But we're here talking wrestling, and we're trying to keep the flow going. So when that match was over, we went to AJ and Vicky, who were in the back.
AJ wants to compete again.
And Vicky's delivery was a little strange.
Yeah, it's been. I haven't really liked Vicky. I like Vicky. I haven't liked her in this new role. And possibly it's just because we've seen her in this role before. This type of general manager thing is getting stale to me. They need to change
Miss Lee
that.
and playing all goody two shoes, but her delivery is just coming out very robotical, mechanical. It's very scripted. Yeah, something's bothering me.
You need to read it this way. I mean, maybe it's that. Who knows?
Vicky asks AJ what her biggest weakness is, because essentially she's going through a job interview again.
Right.
Vicky's giving the scouting report essentially to see if she's fit to be rehired. Asks AJ her biggest weakness, and AJ says she's just too emotionally attached to her job.
Yeah, and she asks, does that mean she's crazy?
Yeah, and then she brought up the crazy.
And you see a little bit of a switch, but she holds it together.
Holds it back, and then Vicky says, "Give me one good reason why you should be reissued a contract," and that's how we end the segment, I believe. So to the next match, Team Hell No.
Oh no, the tag champs
versus the Primetime Players with no entrance.
Hell No is falling apart a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, Darren Young played very scared of Kane on the entrance. He was kind of cowering behind Titus O'Neil. New pink trunks, new pink cancer trunks for the Primetime Players.
They seem to be having a lot of new gear here.
Yeah, we from this point on, we see that throughout most of the matches that everyone's got new gear. But
a lot of people, but I'm also talking the Primetime Players seem to every couple weeks be having new.
Pretty much every week they
right?
got something new going on. They got the yellows, the purples, the pinks now.
Yeah.
The greens. The with the sequins, the without the sequins.
Yeah, they're pulling a page from Flair, you know.
Yeah, but I got to imagine, I don't know, but I got to imagine that one of the Primetime Players probably has some connection to some cancer in his family, because it wasn't just like wearing the cancer wristbands for the month. I mean, those are cancer trunks.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows? I mean, they seem to be bedazzled. Maybe one of those guys they have a bedazzling thing, and they're doing all those trunks themselves, and their shirts are all bedazzled. So.
Oddly, I don't own a bedazzler.
I don't either.
I've always wanted to get one.
How do you not have a bedazzler?
Yeah, I've always wanted to get one, but I feel pretty stupid going. I mean, not that I don't feel stupid purchasing a lot of the stuff that I get.
We know to get you for your birthday.
Man, my birthday was just 2 weeks ago, so we missed it until next year, man.
About 50 weeks.
If you want to talk about special occasions, last night being the pay-per-view and everything, 1 year ago last night was when I actually opened up for legendary hip-hop rapper KRS-One.
Oh, wow.
1 year anniversary.
You opened up rapping?
Yeah, I'm a rapper, too.
Oh, awesome.
I represent the real
Do a little rap? Do we have a little beat going from the...
We'll do that another episode, but not tonight. We're in Jesse Ventura mode. We're not in hip-hop mode. I guess we'll keep the beat going. Check it out. Here we go. Come up on the scene with the AfterBuzz. Everybody says, yo, what's up, cuz? You got to give the information that we're looking for, but now you lowered the volume, so you ain't got no more.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you that.
Yeah. All right, the match was solid, dude. The match was solid. Kane and Bryan are great in the ring. Primetime Players are doing great.
Yeah, they're definitely learning and up and coming, and I like those guys.
Once again, we're still with that problem of they just always get. I mean, they are jobbers, man. They went from being a team that looked like they were a new establishing top team in WWE, and now they're straight up jobbers.
But you got to look where those guys were 9 months ago, and look where they've worked They've worked really hard, and they've come a long way. Because 9 months ago, there were just a couple. I mean, Titus was milk toast. He was just so plain, and it was like, oh man, just cut this guy already. And now he's great.
I like Titus. I like. Let's make it a win.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make it a win or something. What did he say? I love that guy. I felt so bad after that NXT promo he cut back.
Oh, I don't remember.
That was his original thing when he got eliminated from NXT, like when we first saw him on WWE television, and it was a promo day, and he was in his zone, and he was doing well, and he's like, and if you're gonna make it, and then his mind just totally lost, like he either said something wrong or lost track of what he was gonna do, and he's like, then make it a win. And everyone's just like, what? And that was the end of Titus. But he's come back from that, and he's established himself.
Yes.
I think we're going to see growth out of PTP.
I think so.
I've talked about, I think we should add JTG. I think you should add Ezekiel.
Yeah.
I think there's potentials to turn that into a money-making faction.
I agree.
So, in the end, Team Hell No gets the win. argument, who is the tag team champions.
Oh, yeah, it's getting old there.
The one thing I did like was Kane explaining his case. So what happened, Kane was essentially winning the match. Daniel Bryan tags himself in, pops on the yes lock or the no lock for the win. After that, Kane's arguing with Daniel Bryan, and he's sitting there. He's like, "Well, I had him beat," and just when Kane argues like he's normal, it's very funny.
Yes, especially because the guy's like really smart, so he can do stuff like that.
Moving on, we go to a little recap of the Brad Maddox issue. We don't have to talk much about it. We already have. And then we had an entrance by Vicky Guerrero, reassuring us that this is a new era of WWE with credibility and integrity. Yeah.
And she's going to show off, she's going to show the proof of Cena and AJ.
She's got proof of their dangerous liaison.
Oh, yes.
So Cena makes his entrance. And he tells Vicky Guerrero, "Vicky, your actions last week were outrageous."
Oh.
It actually got a chuckle out of me. There's something that I don't. Sometimes his delivery, that comedic dry style of Cena works, and sometimes it doesn't. It works.
It depends almost who he's across from, you know.
Yeah, it worked. Just telling her that she's, that her actions were outrageous. And then Vicky starts showing some stuff off. So she shows that Cena asked AJ out on a date, which Cena then said, from a past episode of Raw.
Yeah. And he says, I also said I'm a giant fruity pebble, and I do all this and that.
I'm the one-armed man.
Yeah, nobody takes me seriously. This is TV.
So we step up the proof a little bit more, and Vicky shows footage of the hug.
A very slow mode hug. Very slow mode.
And finally, we see a picture of AJ and Cena at dinner together.
Oh, yeah. And not finally, there was one more after that.
There was. See, but they were acting like that was the final.
Yeah.
So then comes the big moment.
Of course, he says, "That's the dinner I just told you about."
So then Vicky says she's got one more bit of information, one more piece of video that'll throw this whole little mystery into perspective, and that's some footage of Cena and AJ getting into the elevator together.
And do you know why this bothered me?
Why? Because I loved it.
Okay, it was great, but this is why it bothered me. Did you follow the Claire Lynch storyline at TNA?
I told you I don't watch that inferior product.
I understand. So a couple months ago, they did a storyline where there was an affair between the owner and AJ Styles, and they had footage of them pulling her into an elevator. The exact same thing they just did here.
So did WWE do it better?
Much better, yes. Because the Claire Lynch storyline was one of the worst things I've ever seen in wrestling.
The crowd popped for the elevator footage.
Yeah, but
they loved it.
I just saw it on Spike Television with in another wrestling program a couple months ago.
And then Cena gave one of these.
Oh my God!
Totally the OMG face.
Oh wait, was it with that one, or did he say he explained why they got in the elevator?
They
got in the elevator.
He explains it, but this was all as it was going on. It's like they first showed the footage, the crowd popped.
Yes.
Cena makes that face,
and he says it was just two people getting in an elevator,
and then the crowd starts chanting, "You are busted!"
Yeah,
and it was great. Yeah. And then Dolph Ziggler made his entrance.
Well, before that though,
he explained that they were just getting in an elevator,
and then he walked her to the door,
and
then that's when Vicky started saying, "Did you go in for a good night kiss? Did you cuddle? Did you do all this?" Right, and that's when he started to flip out a little bit.
No, I think that may come up later because I actually wrote that because Vicky starts asking about pillow talk and all that.
Right, and then Ziggler came out after that, and he cut his promo, and what in the middle of that. Cena bolted.
Ziggler started talking about AJ. Cena pushes him right. So there had to be another time that comes up.
It was
because Cena pushes Ziggler right away.
It was before Ziggler came out that he said that to Vicky.
Yeah, okay. Loving this. I like putting Cena with Ziggler right now. I think that elevates Ziggler to another level. Not so, everyone was expecting to cash in of Money in the Bank last night.
Yeah.
We liked your theory of that he was going to cash in and beat Big Show in less than 45 seconds.
Yeah. And maybe that was pitched and Big Show said, "No, I'm not doing that again. You're not going to make me look stupid again. Give me a title run."
Ziggler tweeted, he said, "Look, I'm not going to be an idiot like John Cena and tell everybody the night that I'm going to do it and then do it."
He did tell everybody the week before that he was going to do it. So,
but he didn't do it. He said he was going to, but he didn't.
Once again, that's hypocrisy and it's most hypocritical.
See, he's doing a little mind games, little cerebral assassinations, you know?
I'm just digging the storyline. You know, sometimes the relationship stuff gets very hokey.
Yeah.
Cena, despite being a real actor who's been in some movies, not a very good actor. AJ, fun to watch. Not necessarily the greatest actress. A little hokey, but fun.
She's not bad.
Something about
she's good.
These three together. Something works for me.
Yeah.
And I also like the idea if it evolves into AJ kind of aligning with Dolph Ziggler.
That would be fun.
Elevate. Like AJ and Dolph seem so much cooler, better, hipper, and more of a ratings pull than Dolph and Vicky.
It's time to split them up. It's been, how long has he been with her? It's been a couple years now, right?
Long time.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's that. We go to commercial, and we come back to Antonio Cesaro already in the ring.
I loved this.
And Miz on commentary. Go ahead, talk about it. You liked it.
Loved this promo of Cesaro just kind of cutting a promo about Halloween and how we're the fattest country in the world, which is true. And how you've got Halloween where all these little fat kids and little fat Power Rangers are going to be showing up and getting candy.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the fat kids. It was actually the kids were with their fat parents who were dressed up as Power Rangers.
Oh, it was the parents dressed up as Power Rangers?
I believe it was the fat parents who were irresponsibly taking their kids for the candy.
Yeah. Dressed up as fat little Power Rangers. Yes.
Whatever it was, there was fat Power Rangers.
There was fat little Power Ranger, yeah, which I enjoyed. I thought that was very funny.
Cesaro versus Kofi Kingston in an actual matchup. Mm-hmm. Pretty good. Pretty good. We had Miz out there on commentary, and Kofi was distracted by that.
Right.
I mean, Kofi's the champ. He's got to have more mental fortitude to not be so easily distracted by someone at guest commentary. Because it wasn't Miz trying to throw Kofi off its game. Kofi was in a match, and Kofi was not focused, and instead was worried about
That's one of the first things they teach you when you train is you never take your eyes off your opponent. You never turn your back.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just irresponsible.
Completely irresponsible.
It's going to cause you to get hurt, get beat, whatever it may be.
Miz has had a hard time these past 3 matches. He can't beat him physically in the ring. So he's going to work with this.
And you know what I found interesting, too, is we've seen that they're switching Michael Cole back to babyface announcer. He's no longer heel at all. And he's always been a Miz guy, throughout the last year. The must see, blah, blah. Him and Miz got into it. Commentary, they were yelling at each other in this. So
they did get heated. They
got really heated. And, it's interesting because Cole's the Miz has been his guy for the last year or so. Always, he's a Miz guy. He's my friend. Most must see, all the time. And they split here.
Yeah, Cole has shown flashes of being a face since the
They've
whole
moved him
King.
That's the headphone. That's the headset, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the kind of thing that, honestly, when you look at commentary, it's each commentator has to bring their own skill set to the table. But what they are saying is so being puppet string pulled by the man on the mic in the back, whether it's Vince, whether it's someone else. But they have someone in their ear at all times.
Yeah.
And it's like you say one thing wrong, you stutter too much, and you're gonna hear hell, man.
Did you read Kurt Angle's book about because he's deaf in one ear, and he talks about the first time he had the headsets on,
it's coming from the one ear.
He gets in the back, and they're screaming at him. Why didn't you say anything we told you? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You didn't tell me anything. They're like, in the right ear, and he's like, I'm deaf in my right ear. So he had to have special headsets with them talking in the other ear.
Now, couldn't they have just flipped the headset around?
I guess so. He also talks about
rotate the mic. I don't know.
Well, he talks about that in a match with The Rock. He asked him like 3 times what The Rock told him in a match to do, and The Rock, I guess, turns his head and says, "I said, throw me in the ring, you deaf bastard."
Yeah, Foley talks about in one of his books. I think it was the Hardcore book, like when he went to TNA, Hardcore Justice book or whatever.
Okay,
it was called.
I haven't read that one.
Essentially, he talks about how he chose to go to TNA because he just couldn't take doing the commentary. He said just hearing Vince every week yelling at him and insulting this, or coming back and just getting read the riot act for everything he did. He's like, this is not how I can do it. I can't handle this anymore.
Supposedly Cole is full-time, no longer heel announcer at all. They've completely removed him from that.
I like that. I liked him a lot better as a face.
Yeah.
He was so annoying.
And I think I'm enjoying JB. I mean, he wasn't on tonight, but JBL's heel announcing has been really great. He's almost been kind of the new Jesse a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. And we actually get an announcement comes up later in the show, but a couple segments later. But we find out that Lawler is going to be returning to the commentary desk in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So
Man was dead.
making the comeback from a heart attack at ringside.
Yeah, and once again, they said the survival rate, 1 out of 260 people survive what he had.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
So it's better for him to return to work. So if
Yeah.
it happens again, he'll be all right.
I mean,
It's the safest place. Best
Right?
doctors
you
right
got
there.
the doctors, you got the medical people. I mean, all right. So during the match, Kofi throws Cesaro over the commentary table onto Miz, pisses the Miz off. Miz ends up interfering in the match for the disqualification. Kofi Kingston gets the win over Antonio Cesaro by disqualification. And then in a post-match beatdown, we get R-Truth coming out to make the save on Kofi's behalf.
But little Jimmy was not there. Little Jimmy, I think, stayed in the back.
R-Truth was looking very like primetime Neon Dion a little bit with his little head wrapping suit. He had a little Deion Sanders vibe going.
Poofy pants, big shoulder pads.
No, just a suit. But
you keep saying
He's
you
a
like
wrestler,
you want to go kind of with the African American gimmick with the with putting JTG and all those guys together.
I wouldn't put.
Would you put
Truth
Truth in that mix?
Nah,
Turn him
not
back
needed.
heel and put him.
No, I think those 4 guys elevate. You're taking 4 lower card guys, and they elevate him
And Truth is
into a
almost
mid card.
too high up
Yeah,
to-
he's too big for that, and he's too much of a personality. He doesn't need the elevation of the other people.
They need
And
him
I've
on
done
Saturday,
he'd almost
Saturday
drown
Morning
them.
Slam.
And I've done it with Truth before. Back in XPW also, I brought R-Truth in when he was K-Quick. And,
Yeah.
you know, his first WWF run ended. He was K-Quick. We brought him into XPW, and I actually turned him into K. Malik Shabazz, the head of the new Black Panther Party.
Oh wow.
Wow.
With Muhammad Saeed and Raphael. I don't remember what the
Oh,
other
wow.
guys' names
Stuff
are.
right there.
We
man.
did some racy stuff, man.
He's a talented guy.
Yeah, he was calling people crackers left and right.
Oh,
Actually,
awesome.
TNA then actually tweaked the whole angle and let him start running with the XPW thing.
Oh, did they? He was the
Dude,
there
Black
and did
Panther-
the 3 Live Crew.
The new
thing
Black
and-
Panthers were dope, man. We had them in like the Riot squat gear, but with the
Oh,
Black Panther
that's great.
patches, and they were pretty cool. We originally wanted to call them the Black Gorilla Cartel, but I don't think everyone thought that was a little too much.
Too much.
I think it's strong. I think it's strong. I actually wanted them to debut.
Did they get tons of heat from the crowd?
Oh,
Or they-
absolutely.
that sounds like they
I'll
would have been.
spoil this little story and see what people think of this. So what I wanted to do, and maybe it's a little too much for some people, so the race warnings are out there. But hey, this is wrestling, man. There's no rules. Essentially, I wanted for the opening intro when we first established them as a powerful faction.
Right.
Lights drop. A la like when the Brood originally did their bloodbath, they had like the strobes and the and then the lights would come back on and,
And
they
everyone
had
would
the
be
covered
soaked
in
in
blood.
blood, yeah.
So I wanted to essentially do the lights drop and you just start hearing jungle noises and like gorillas like destroying something, going
Right.
ape-ass crazy.
Right.
And then when the lights come on, you got all 4 of the Black Gorilla Cartels on each 4 corner with the fist up and the guy dead in the ring covered in banana peels.
Oh.
It's scary. It's intimidating. It's militant. And it would make...
If it was pulled off right,
I
with
think-
those guys, yeah.
Were they down for it?
we didn't... I mean, I got
pitched it.
vetoed on that storyline from day one, saying it was
guess
too
so.
much.
Like we can't do that.
Good Lord.
But I mean, I've always been a fan of trying to pull something like that off. I like to push the buttons and the
Yeah.
boundaries.
You never know what's going to work.
That'd be pushing.
I
Some
mean, that
buttons.
really would have pushed. I mean, that would have pushed people's buttons. You know, and that's sometimes the good stuff where you really get under people's skins, like the CM
WWE
Punk.
can't push buttons like that, though.
Yeah,
There's
Punk
too
definitely
much of
did a little bit with the Straight Edge Society and trying to act like Jesus Christ and all that.
and
you
the
know,
cult leader. But
of course, the office didn't know what he was doing.
you
but
can't play with religion, and you can't play with race.
a little bit. You gotta be careful with
If
it. in
WWE
a
wasn't
certain
publicly
way.
traded, you'd be able to get away with it.
They used to do a lot more back.
And then Linda's
a little bit harder
Linda's
now.
campaign, $50 million spent. They said already on the campaign
Yeah,
this year.
something like that. So.
That's what I always say.
And
You
it's
gotta
not just
follow
her,
the money.
It's also, you know, they've got deals with what is it like Marvel or what? You know, they've got deals.
It's
a
the
lot
Mattel
or
deal
It's
for
the
the-
Mattel, yeah. I mean, so there's a lot of other factors as well.
All right, that match ends. We go back to the back. Vicky comes back to AJ saying, "Sorry to keep you waiting, Miss Lee." And this is where that other conversation happened, where Vicky was asking AJ, "How was the pillow talk? Did Cena whisper sweet nothings into your ear?" Now, I got to say, for a supervising manager to be asking one of her employees questions like this, I think that crosses the bar, and that could be
Sexual harassment.
It's brutal. I think this story.
Where's human resources?
I like Cena and AJ's storyline. I don't mind this romantic liaison and what they're doing, but this general manager, managing supervisor, and how because of a dinner date she's fired, but it's okay that Vicky has constantly for years had relationships with her clients.
Ziggler, Edge,
all that. And then I mean,
well, here's where I was actually thinking where the issue is with that as well, because it was, well, AJ has had boyfriends before in this. Why is it a problem with her dating within the company? The issue where that would be is that she's management, and when management is date, and I think you even have that in some companies where you can date.
But Vicky was still with one of her wrestlers when she was on management and a general manager of SmackDown as well. So there's so many holes to this story.
They love the that was a year ago. Nobody remembers. It's WWE's classic on just forgetting things like that. And
it's not forgetting; it's they're choosing to just brush it under the rug.
Yeah.
All right, so
just like there was never an American Badass, he never existed. The Undertaker has always been the dead man.
In the end, AJ gets her job back, and she's told that she's going to have a match tonight.
Yeah. And let's not forget, AJ actually stood her ground a little bit, and
that's what it was.
And said no.
Correct, that's what it was. Vicky demanded that she can easily get her job back. She just had to say that she had this affair with Cena, and AJ stood her ground, said no, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to do that to him, and she walked away.
Right.
And then Vicky said, hey, all right, you got your job back.
Right. Which made me think, oh, Vicky was ordered to give her the job back and was just playing this a little bit, but that was the way I felt about it. The way that.
All right, here we go. We're coming up to one of my favorite segments of the evening.
Oh, did we mention Beth? Did you mention Beth Phoenix there?
I said that.
Okay.
It's set up for the. No. We haven't had the match yet.
Oh, we haven't. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead.
Oh, way to go, Widowmaker!
I just screwed it up.
Well, see, what you're doing is you're planting seeds inside the brains of all these people and trying to brainwash them.
That's true.
Part of the plan.
We got Fred Norris in the booth today,
yeah, we do. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
We got the effects going.
I like it.
You do.
3MB behind the music. I was expecting something different when it started.
I have to say, I like this. I texted you about it. I'm like, am I crazy? This is like the best thing the three-man band has done. It was like behind the music thing. I actually liked them playing the fact that Jinder Mahal has no personality. They played on that. I thought Drew McIntyre was good, and
Bono.
Yeah, I thought I liked.
Yeah,
I thought this worked.
There's lots I can get into right here that I definitely enjoyed. At first, when they said 3MB behind the music, I thought we were going to get WWE production at its best. I thought we were going to get a little 3-minute documentary style package done like
Did you like the
music.
bad ADR on the interviewer? And that was very obviously pumped in.
Yeah, I mean they talked. Jinder's the fun one.
Yeah.
And then he makes his straight face expression, and as you said, the Bono stuff. It was actually Bono couldn't do one deadlift, and then Heath Slater had the line of the night for me when he goes, "That's beautiful, man."
This is the first time like this kind of group has felt together for me. Like they're starting to figure it out.
Yeah, it definitely started to work, and this is what I talked about last week. I brought up the fact that because we hated this 2-3 weeks ago when it started, and I said last week I just kind of had this feeling that you give it another week, it's going to develop into something that's so stupid that it's going to become fantastic.
Yeah.
And in 1 week, they pulled that off.
Yeah, and the match was fun with them. Like the guys just seem like their body language is different. They're getting into this. Like the three of them. Like I've been saying, these guys need to get together and figure this out and screw creative.
Do you want the magic?
And it feels like they're doing that.
You want the magic Ryan GQ money?
Yes.
Miracle moment of how you're going to make these guys masterful?
Yes. They're not doing my finisher anymore.
Check this out. You got a 3-man band, 3-man team. I think you bring in one more person to this crew. You keep them the 3MB, but every band needs a good road manager, and I think Michael P.S. Hayes should relocate them to Bad Street.
That's not a bad idea.
He starts petitioning that 3MB's matches are going to be held in Freebird rules.
Somebody get that message to Michael Hayes.
We start swapping the 2 to 3. Absolutely. Let's get this passed out. I'm going to send this into them tomorrow, and I'm going to see another one of my ideas show up on TV, and I'm still not going to get hired.
Yeah. But I agree. That's a great idea. Michael Hayes. Or how about this? Here's another one. bring in the Honky Tonk Man. Would that work?
I'm okay with Honky Tonk Man. I think it's good.
It would be a goofier.
What I like about Michael Hayes is Michael Hayes is the rock and roll legend. I mean, when you look at wrestlers and the rock and roll vibe, I mean, Freebirds, Bad Street USA. He recorded his song back in the day. You know, Bad Street. They had an album, for Pete's sake. Michael Hayes being involved in in WWE, being involved in creative,
very high up in creative.
Honky Tonk, a pain in the butt to deal with. Not going to do this. Not going to do that. I want to be paid this. I want to be paid that.
Not on
you could slip Michael Hayes right into that role. No bonus necessary. Maybe a little extra money for him if they get over, but easily can make this happen. And I bet you if he hears this idea, he's going to walk into the office tomorrow and say, I got this great idea I was thinking of last night.
Put me with the 3MB as their manager. I think that would be really great. Yeah, absolutely.
The other, we started talking about the match. We didn't say who they're actually wrestling. They're wrestling Team Cobro.
Cobro.
It seems every single week we're seeing another tag team and an increased focus on building teams.
And we've seen these guys team up a little bit, but they're now named. Now they're named. They're officially together. What do you think about this team?
We got a lot of good tag teams in WWE right now, and even though they're taking singles guys and putting them together, they're doing it in the right combinations where they are meshing and merging and becoming legitimate teams.
And I'm kind of hoping, you know what I'd like to see them do is maybe go outside and bring some teams in that aren't there. Like maybe go get the Briscoes, go grab some of the teams on the independent scene and bring a couple teams we haven't seen in that we don't know the guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility. There's possibility of
bring up the Ascension.
From FCW?
From FCW.
I think we're going to start seeing stuff like that. And I think the seeds are being planted for this division to really grow, develop, evolve.
Have you watched the Ascension down in FCW?
I've seen some stuff. They got cool entrances.
Yeah, they're almost like a modern-day Road Warriors.
Road Warriors meets The Undertaker.
It's different. Meets Underworld. Their entrance is very Underworld.
Yeah,
it's very cool.
Goth meets...
They're called the Ascension, and their entrance...
Conor O'Graves and... I don't know their names.
I forget their names, but it's almost like a goth vampire-ish type thing, and they've got lights, and their entrance is awesome. Just go watch. It's called the Ascension. Yeah.
In terms of Team Cobro, if there's one person on the WWE roster that makes the most out of every single moment he is on television, who do you think I'm going to say? Santino Marella, man. That guy could be given 12 seconds of airtime every single week, and you're going to sit there as a fan and go, that was an entertaining 12 seconds.
Every time.
And this dude knows how. Yeah, I mean, he's got it, man. I'm not saying he's going to be he should be the top of the man in the company. He's a little guy. He shouldn't. He's a utility player.
Right.
But Santino's one of the best.
And
man.
I'll tell you, there's like those moments in some big matches where the only stuff I remember is Santino's the Royal Rumble this last year. Santino doing stuff with Mick Foley.
Even in this match, he was doing what I was talking about, trying to bring that audience, incorporate the audience into the interactivity of the night's festivities. And when he was on the apron, his rider was in the ring, things were a little slower, the crowd was a little down, and there you hear in the background, he's not even on screen, he's standing off, he's not even on camera, and you hear him on the apron doing the "Let's go Ryder, woo woo woo, let's go." And, I mean, it didn't actually catch on. He couldn't get the chant going with the crowd, but he was working and he was trying.
Which is an important thing too, because they always tell you when you're learning to wrestle as well. When you're in a tag match, you should be working as hard on the outside as the guy on the inside, and Santino was doing that.
Yeah, you never want to be leaning on the ropes. You want to be ready for action to get back in
ready
there.
to tag in, cheering your partner on.
Yeah, I just love Santino's a mass. He's amazing.
Yeah, and they did something funny with the Cobra here, right? Where he struck someone off.
Oh, yeah, so he went to hit the Cobra. He was distracted on the outside. I think there was a turn. So, O'Neal jumped down, or one of the three-man band, McIntyre jumped down.
Right.
So he turned. He ducks through, and then when he turned back, he jumped and hit the Cobra.
Right.
And then after hitting the move, he ended up getting hit by Heath Slater in the new overdrive style maneuver. New finisher, 3MB with the win. It was good. The wrestling tonight, the matches have been very good.
Yeah.
They were solid.
I'm not
very few squash matches.
I didn't love tonight's episode overall as we're going through it. It was a little but the wrestling itself was solid.
It was better than average.
Next up, we had AJ versus Beth. Here's something I found interesting. Commentary was kind of no-selling the taunting by Beth. This was all about AJ. So everything was, oh, how's AJ going to overcome this? Beth's so strong, Beth's so big. The whole time Beth's in the ring sitting there yelling at AJ, what are you going to do to me, AJ? Come on, hit me, I dare you. You can't do nothing.
Right.
Verbally taunting and making something where you sit and go, oh, Beth Phoenix is obviously trying to get under the skin of it. You didn't hear any of that.
No.
It was focus on AJ, not on Beth.
Right.
Like, is she let go for real this time?
I think she's. I know she was.
We'll get to it.
We'll
Let's get to that in a second. So let's go through the match, and then we'll talk about that because it comes up quick. Beth Phoenix picked up AJ on the outside, rammed her back into the apron.
Yeah.
Looked brutal.
AJ went nuts to start it off, right, and attacked Beth.
Yeah.
And just went crazy.
Free
attacking.
slap because essentially Beth was taunting her, trying to get under her skin.
Right.
Finally pushed the buttons. AJ snapped, went into crazy mode. I skipped over that because I just went right to that back.
Right. And then Beth got
that rammer into the apron. I mean, honestly, it looked like you could have broken AJ's back. I mean, it was awesome. Ends up happening. AJ hits a small package for the win. I didn't like it. I don't believe it. I think Beth was destroyed. You know, even when you say she started strong, Beth was still destroying her.
Yeah.
Beth is stronger.
Just not given enough time to tell the story.
You know, the small packages work in certain surprise scenarios.
They didn't have the time to do it.
Not enough time. She's too small, and Beth's legs are too strong, comparatively on the body types. That even wrapped up in the small package, Beth can kick out of that and should have kicked out of that. I didn't like it. That was a moment for me tonight.
Yeah. But then Miss Vicky came back out.
Yeah, she said she demands a lot more from AJ. This is once again
This didn't make a lot of sense.
No sense. Vicky Guerrero demanding that AJ does better. It's like AJ just won the match, but then Vicky Guerrero said that I demand that you do better, and we're gonna restart the match, and you're gonna have to prove yourself. And it's just kind of it was nuts, man. It's stupid. This match gets restarted. We end up for Beth hits the grand slam, and it was great.
The glam slam.
The glam slam, excuse me. Yeah, it was fantastic. Beth's awesome. Yeah. She's one of the best girls.
Yeah, I mean, she's probably not just one of the best girls, one of the best wrestlers overall in the roster. She's right up there. She's great.
That was that for that match. We go to a commercial for the release of WWE 13 tomorrow. We go to a commercial for Brock's Rise to Dominance, the Here Comes the Pain DVD. And then we go to Sheamus.
Well, I want to do another commercial for AfterBuzz. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and listening to us. If you have any other shows that you like, we got a giant fall schedule ahead of us right now. We got 50+ shows. If you like it, we most likely have a recap show for it. So hit up AfterBuzz.com or TV.com, AfterBuzzTV.com, and check it out.
That's right, absolutely. Back to the action, back to what we're here talking about. Raw recap for the week of October 29th. Sheamus in the ring. He says, all right, Sheamus is still back to his goofiness on his promo. Guy just got knocked out by Big Show last night. Just lost the WWE Championship. WWE Championship. No, the World Heavyweight Championship. World Heavyweight Championship. And he's still not mad and doesn't have that fire. And that bothered me about that.
Yeah.
And Big Show told him last week, you need to get serious. This isn't just somebody. This isn't some normal person you're fighting. I'm a legend. I'm a giant.
He backed that up too.
Backed it up. Knocked him out twice.
Yeah. So Big Show actually came back to the ring. Came down to the ring. And essentially, this is one of those moments where, once again, they're opening up to being allowed to interact with individuals of the crowd, because Big Show is getting ready to talk, and he just randomly turns around and yells to someone, "Don't boo me! How you gonna boo me for telling the truth?"
You giggled off that.
Absolutely, loved it.
And also, before he came out, Sheamus said that Show won the battle, but not the war, and that he's dying for another fight, and he will hold the title again. It will be back around his waist.
Yeah, and then Big Show called Sheamus a redheaded ginger snap.
And what was Sheamus's line off there?
Sheamus responded by saying, "Have you actually seen a ginger snap?" And then he just scoops up Show like nothing. Hits white noise. Absolutely. I mean, it was like the guy weighed 12 pounds.
With the white noise, yeah. And it was so smooth from picking up to hitting it. It was just in one movement, and like, wow.
It almost took a little away from the power and strength of the Ryback gimmick.
No, you guys are wrestlers. No, that hold, the white noise is that? I mean, it seems like Big Show's weight is all just distributed, like almost hanging off his body, and he's holding on for dear life.
Sheamus has that weight sucked on. I mean, Sheamus is holding on
tight,
big
right?
time.
Yeah.
It's harder for Ryback to get someone up on his neck like that. It's not exactly like a fireman's carry. It's actually a little bit harder, right?
I would think it may be harder to hold that white noise.
I would think the white noise,
because on a shoulder you can get your body under and base. Like I mean, I can carry a lot of weight on my. I mean, I'm not the strongest guy in the world.
It's like a weighted squat.
Like I mean, even at my small, when I weighed 130 pounds, I was squatting 350. Because once you get it up there, it's the strength and the power.
And the white noise, he'd almost be falling off. So you've got to hook that leg and you got to hook that head and really suck that to your body. So yeah.
Good moment. Show's on fire right now. I'm very pleased with the decision to give him the belt. Gives us something to kind of tweak with, play with Sheamus, and see what we can do to get him back on track. Everyone's talking about he's stale, needs to be freshened up a little bit.
And has Show ever had a legitimate, like, real title run?
They were talking about the 45 seconds and acting like that was it. I thought he's been the champ before.
Well, he has, but I don't know if you're back when they did that 45-second thing and he was building up to was the fact that he had not held the title for like 8 years or something like that before that.
He was like ECW champion.
It had been a long
I didn't realize.
time.
I thought he's been the World Heavyweight Champ. I thought he's been the WWE champion.
He's been both, but that was like Attitude Era that he had that. It was so long time ago. So he hasn't had a run in probably a decade.
Yeah, I'm going to start picking up the pace, talking about the final few segments because we're running a little bit short on time.
Okay.
Cena and AJ in the back. Finally, Cena tells AJ everything's going to be okay, or something like that.
Keep your chin up.
Keep your chin up. Buck up.
Vicky's
Buck up,
and
buckaroo.
Vicky is slinking in the back.
Yeah, then Vicky comes up and essentially has a moment with Beth Phoenix. Tells her she's fired.
Yeah. Says she did a great job first, right? And
Beth Phoenix gone. Dud.
Beth Phoenix gone.
Storyline? Are we going to see Beth Phoenix go away for a little while?
I know her contract's up and she's supposedly done.
Yeah, there was rumors that she was done, but is this going to be the official end, or is this just a storyline to set up for the end?
I hope it's a storyline, because if it is the end, I don't like this. I think Beth Phoenix deserves more of a send off than just you're fired. She just meant way too much to that division.
Or is she taking a break? A much
no,
break.
She's supposedly, her contract is expiring.
Dang.
Her contract is up. She's not resigning. She's going away for a little bit.
Probably put some money aside.
Probably.
It's a rough life. Wants to take a little break. I'm sure she'll leave on decent terms.
Right. Supposedly Edge is going under, who she's dating is going under the knife, going under this neck surgery. So she's going to be with him, and she's going to go heal up for a little while.
Heal up. Next, we had a fantastic tag team match between Ray Cara and the Rhodes Scholars.
Are they calling them Ray Cara, or did you just make that up?
I just called them
I like
Ray Cara.
WWE Ray Cara. There's another one.
I'm on fire tonight. It's all right.
There's another one.
When you're Jesse the Body, you're also Jesse the Mind, and I've got a fantastic and fabulous mind.
Forgot about Jesse the Mind.
Sin Cara in the ring to start off with Ray. Excuse me. Sin Cara was in the ring with Cody Rhodes, I think, at this point. Started hitting a succession of handsprings. That
was really cool.
Liked it. Just intimidation. It's showing that he's getting into the character vibe of WWE. It's not just about wrestling.
Right, and I think what you can really see that this is the new evolution of Sin Cara has been since they've put him with Mysterio. Mysterio is really rubbing off on him, really teaching him.
This match was pretty awesome. Had some awesome action, great spots. Ends with the Terminus by Sandow. Also, new trunks on Sandow. We keep saying, like, everyone got new gear.
They're
but they got rid of the purple, though. So everyone was complaining the pink and the purple trunks, or his knee pads and trunks.
His knee pads are still purple, though.
So he's got purple. It was pink. It used to be pink trunks with the purple knee pads.
Yeah, it was.
Now he's going the gray to match Cody Rhodes. Still has the purple. Looks a little strong. It gives him a little more credibility.
Yeah, and they need to look more and more like. I mean, this is my favorite tag team right now, hands down.
Which a team I didn't like when they first put them together. I didn't like the idea of putting them together, but they've become a team, and I like that.
I also noticed my second favorite crowd sign of the evening, and that was the giant CM Punk head.
Oh yeah, you were mentioning
how did people make those?
I've actually a fan made one for me at a match once, and I remember it was great. Like after the opening match, Vampiro and Chaos come back to the back, and they're like, "What the hell, man? There's a giant head of yours in the crowd." I mean, it was large. It's like an 8-foot head.
That's
and
crazy.
they gave it to me after the show. It's on plastic.
Do you still have it?
Yeah, I still have it.
Oh, that's great.
I'll probably pop it out at MPW one of these days.
You should bring it here and set it up.
I mean, it's large, dude. I mean, it's large. It's hard to get it in the car and travel with it.
Wow.
Big head on a stick. Like I said, it's not like it's paper. It's hard plastic.
Wow.
You know, so essentially they go to a printing company, you know, print out a big thing, lay it on some poster board, glue it on, whatever.
$40 later, you got
honestly,
you got a giant GQ money head.
Unless you got a friend who owns a printing company, you're probably looking at about $100 to create something like that. Yeah. So we move on, and we got Foley and Caitlin in the back. We start up a little ad for WWE 13, the video game. Comes out at midnight tonight. Officially comes out tomorrow. And then Heyman comes in and tells Foley that he should be worried about his Survivor Series team.
Yeah, he's not doing his job.
Yeah, he told Foley that he's got a target on his back. And Foley said, "Tell me about the target, Paul."
Which we all giggled
Another
on.
moment. I love Foley talking
Yeah,
to.
it was funny.
I got to be Foley in WWE's video game in 2007.
So you've been Foley and Rey Mysterio.
I've been Foley,
and Teddy
Rey
Long.
Mysterio, Teddy Long, Rob Van Dam, Hardy, and Stone Cold. And Eugene. Eugene was one of my favorites as well.
Oh, my God. Which game were you Eugene in?
That's 2006.
That was 2006?
Yeah, and then you can use my voice as custom voice 2 in that game. So, yeah, I'm all over that bad boy.
I'll whip that out.
Cena for Charity, talking about the Susan G. Komen Foundation.
Raised $1 million.
They raised $1 million. They brought the whole roster out. Vince McMahon did a little introduction, and they donated a check for $1 million to Susan B. Komen.
Awesome.
They've been running this campaign for 3 weeks now, 3.5 weeks. And raised $1 million. It donated it. Essentially, all profits from those Cena T-shirts, the wristbands, and all that. You got to give it up. I mean, everyone could say Vince McMahon is this evil, vindictive, crazy, tough guy. He does a lot of good things.
They do a lot of good things. You could tell that the woman from the foundation was truly touched and couldn't believe how much money they raised.
Yeah, and she couldn't wait to thank the Cination.
This is the Cination.
Yes.
Finally, Alberto Del Rio comes out to the ring in his Maserati Gran Turismo, valued at $100,000. Takes on Justin Gabriel.
The surging Justin Gabriel.
I said it was a week or 2 weeks ago that I think that there's something missing with Justin Gabriel.
I agree. You like his boots, though.
I like his boots. I like the crazy hair too, and I think that's just a jealousy thing. I wish I had cool hair.
Yeah.
His
look is fine. It's not his look.
I used to have great hair.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, man. I had a ponytail and flowing locks.
You used to have your Barry Windham ponytail?
And now I'm just straight shaved by that company right there.
Headblade.
Little Headblade.
Little ATX action, headblade.com. Go put in GQ money in your checkout. You get a little discount because that's how we do it, man.
Look
We
at
keep
that.
it smooth and sexy.
Man, at least you can grow facial hair.
Yeah, but but I have to grow the facial hair because I got nothing else to grow on my head. So like, it's the only way I can at least play with my look. All right, back to this Del Rio and Gabriel. Essentially, Del Rio just working the arm of Gabriel the whole time. You brought that up.
I love that too. I mean, it's very old school, but just he works that arm the whole match, setting up for that for his finisher. He's the only guy that really does that. That is from the minute the match starts, he's thinking about his finishing hold.
And last night and tonight, JR mentions Chael Sonnen's tweet about the armbar.
Yeah,
saying
because there was an article on WWE.com that
Chael Sonnen.
was involved in.
Oh man, I hope Chael comes.
I mean, it's teased. I mean, everyone's thinking that there's a possibility it's going to happen.
Because we know Punk and him are friends. Punk was supposed to accompany him at one point.
And I guess Chael has said in interviews that he could see a future in WWE when he's done fighting.
He's even gone to Austin's ranch and trained over there with Austin.
Yeah.
All right, final segment of the night. Heyman comes into the ring.
Team Foley,
with
Team
Punk.
Punk.
First, we had the display to give Punk his respect.
Yes.
In the presentation of the WWE 13 poster.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Very communist dictator like.
That's the whole vibe
awesome.
of the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely going with that. I've always loved that. I did one of those kind of gimmicks too back that on an indie level you can't pull off that whole thing. But I was suggesting to promoters we do the whole thing with the speaking from the top of the arena, drop the banners, and do a lot of politicals when I was doing a Russian thing, Kalen KGB. Not about me. Let's go back to them. All right, so after
it's always about you.
It is, man. So after the presentation, we went into the revealing of the teams. Punk or Heyman revealed the team for Team Punk. First person to be announced, Miz. The Miz.
Strong teammate.
Here's a little subtle thing that makes Punk a genius in the ring and a master of his craft. When Miz came in, kind of gave Punk a tap on the shoulder. And kind of with the smile on his face, CM Punk like oversold, like, "Oh man, you can't be touching my shoulder right now. It hurts, man. It hurts."
Oh yeah.
Just something subtle. Is really kind of off camera, but just he's playing every
Always
little angle of it,
thinking.
always thinking. Next one's up where the tag team Rhodes Scholars announced as part of Team Punk. The final person to the team, Alberto Del Rio.
Super strong team.
Strong team. Miz, Rhodes Scholars, Del Rio, and CM Punk.
Have a lot of great
Punk going to be celebrating his 1-year celebration at Survivor Series. He said last year he won the title at Survivor Series.
You've got 3 guys who've done main events, pay-per-view main events, at least, right? And then Rhodes and Team Rhodes Scholars is on their way up, their way there.
And then you have Foley and his team, and he announced Kofi Kingston, Team Hell No, Randy Orton, and finally Ryback. We got the music rising because we've been pushing the boundaries of how long we're talking. Overall, mediocre episode of Raw. Strong wrestling, decent story development, but still just something. Bad taste left on my tongue from last night.
I'd love to see CM Punk and Cena, both of them wrestle sometimes on Raw.
Real fast, worst segment of the night?
Ooh, worst segment of the night.
Everything involving the managing supervisor, man.
Yes.
Not a fan of the whole
about a 75-78 for me on the score here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, another week has gone by with AfterBuzz TV. I'm Ryan GQ Money Katz, or Ryan the Body Ventura. I'm joined by Josh Padgett, Barry Windham, the Widowmaker Clum, and I gotta let everybody know that the pleasure is definitely all yours. But this has been AfterBuzz TV for the week of October 29th. Head on over to iTunes, subscribe, rate, and comment. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and comment. Stay tuned with us. Keep into it. Send in your questions at IamSmiley on Twitter. We'll keep this going, and we'll see you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.